Buenos días. This is DJ Morena Libre.
Good morning, everybody. This is DJ JC.
Yeah,
Friday.
it's Friday.
The last Friday of January 2024.
Is it?
Yes.
Next week is, yeah? Okay.
Next week, already February.
You're thinking way ahead.
I know.
I'm still here right now. Maybe yesterday at night.
Yeah.
Myself is still trying to catch up.
I know. 2024 has been an interesting year.
Oh, tell me. That was a deep breath.
I think all of us are feeling it. But good morning, everybody. Happy Friday to everyone. Hopefully, everybody's doing well.
Yeah.
The weather's really nice, at least in Brownsville.
It's humid, though.
Yes,
It's back, right? It's humid. It's humid. We have a special guest here. We're going to introduce her. It's on social media. It's Alejandra Certuche, or Rosa
Hello.
Alejandra Certuche.
I like Alejandra.
Good morning. Good morning. So we're going to get an opportunity to talk to her, get to know her. We'll introduce her properly in a bit, but she's here in the studio with us. She's a local artist. And I've known her for a while now since I moved back, and I'm really excited that she's here. But meanwhile, enjoy the weather, right? Alejandra already went and got her fix. Her caffeine fix. To be her Starbucks. It's because on the way up here we were talking about addictions.
And still, me estás molestando about the soda.
About the
For
soda, yes. The morning
I
soda.
would work on that one. But some news.
Okay.
I know last year our whole theme was about the Barbie movie.
Oh, yeah.
And so the Oscar nominations came out.
Yeah.
And Barbie has 8 Oscars
Yeah.
that they are nominated for. So.
But
yeah.
Juan was telling me that the director,
She didn't get a
nomination, and the main actress.
Yeah, Margot Robbie didn't get a nomination.
Didn't get a nomination
Yes.
either. But now all the uproar about the woman doesn't get the But honestly, we were talking about it, and I've told you this before. I mean, it's a great movie. I can use it in class, but beyond that, I don't think it was Oscar worthy. I think there's much better movies in that category that really do deserve the Oscars.
Get a nomination for that one. And
Yeah.
you know my stance on Barbie, and so we're not gonna go over that again. But yes, just wanted to mention that it was nominated.
But
that was our theme
You just wanted to
last
throw it
Friday.
in there. You just wanted to throw it in
I
there.
needed to bring that up. Yes. And so, did you see the Barbie movie? And what did you think of it?
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
For it was at the movies. I didn't have a chance to actually go to the movies, and now that it's online,
Yes.
I'm always with my kids and my boys, so they're not really interested. So I mean, I haven't had the chance to sit down and watch it, but I kind of want to.
Yeah, it's on HBO. I think it's.
I'm very
or
curious.
Max.
Yeah, it's on HBO.
It's still a
on Max.
paywall.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it is. You're right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I borrow mine, but sharing is caring.
Yeah.
Sure.
So.
Alejandra, introduce yourself.
Okay,
Come on.
So I'm Alejandra Certuche. I am a local artist and art teacher, muralist, mom, herbalist,
Le puse bruja también.
bruja, bruja, whatever you want. Yeah, I don't know, feminist.
Yes.
Feminasty. I don't know. I mean, that's a little bit about myself. I grew up crossing the border every day, coming to school on this side, but living in Matamoros, and started, I guess, showing my art when I was 17, 18 in Matamoros, and then when I started doing coming to the university here and getting more involved in the art scene here, which wasn't really happening too much till later. Things were pretty slow when I started.
What do you mean by slow?
There weren't that many galleries. I think there was just maybe Puente Gallery in 409 back then. I graduated from UTB 2012.
2012.
With a bachelor's in studio art, fine arts.
Yeah.
Which took me 10 years because I graduated high school in 02. But I traveled and, I had kids and this and that. So life happens. So right now I'm still working on, just art and markets and murals and I've done a couple of when I've done a couple of work for the city. I just finished a thing at the zoo that you can see coming down 6th Street in front of the museum. On the right, you can see it from the street. It's that little like that's like a relief mural type thing, and it was like kind of sculptural. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Is that the one that was at the McDonald's?
The one that was at the McDonald's for a while.
That.
Yeah,
Yes.
that one. So it was already kind of sun damaged and stuff. So I kind of just repainted it, and I finished that. That was the latest work I've done.
And you can't miss it. It's really nice.
I tried to make it really bright.
Yeah,
I changed
it.
I made the I think the macaw was blue before. I just kind of wanted to use red because I like the red ones we have at the zoo. And the zoo has changed so much, and there's so much going on right now. Like they have so many plans. It's amazing. Like I love it.
And you're part of it.
I'm part of it. Yeah. Well, hopefully I'll keep working for them, and they keep giving me projects. So yeah, I'm excited because I love the zoo. Like I just throw me with the snakes. I'll totally hang out with them. I want to paint their walls too.
Well,
They need
snakes.
They need
Snakes
colors in their
love
life.
Yeah.
But you can predominantly see your artwork there.
As you drive, you can see that one. I also did a mural for the Brownsville Public Library on Southmost.
Oh, okay.
That was probably my longest mural. Not my biggest, but that one took me the longest.
It did, yeah.
Well, it took me because of the size and because I had previously done a 5-story building in Matamoros. That took me a month by myself. I was like, I could do this in a month or two, the other one. But the difference was that in Matamoros, I had the scaffolds through the whole building, so I had access to all the building at once, right?
Okay.
So I can work on the top right corner and like the other side, at the same time, or not the same time, but just the same day. And at the library, since I had a lift and there's shelves and I was working during like working hours, there was people and stuff, so it didn't have the same liberty of movement and like space. So I was just working little bits at a time. So it kind of just started growing like the mural just kind of started like stretching little by little until I covered the 4 walls on the top, and that was really fun.
It's a beautiful mural. I mean, we sit there because we go to that library quite a bit, and the kids are constantly discovering something new.
I threw in a bunch of Easter eggs in there because I had to. Like, I mean, and then I would have also kids or people just like ask me to add things like the possum.
Yes.
The tlacuachita. I put with her babies. There's a little tlacuachita mama with her babies hanging on her back, and
then she painted the vents.
Oh yeah, the vents. I made them kind of look like planters. Like I wanted them to look like because there's stuff like on the walls that kind of like I want to integrate it so it doesn't look like there's just this like block of lights. Like there's these 2 light bulbs that they have on all the walls that I made them look like little robot heads, and the little robots are carrying little planters.
Yeah. Go back. I went to the library a couple of weeks back and I saw it and I was like, wow, that is really.
You need to
nice.
sit.
I need to take time.
Yes.
Like
It's fun. Yeah.
So
I had they asked me for Montezuma cypress, so I did my own interpretation because to me the cypress looks like it's dripping. So I made it look like it was dripping down, and it like you can see that like it roots close to the water or like along the water, so you can see it like the roots in the water. And then I added some kodamas, like little forest spirits from Princess Mononoke, and because I'm a big Ghibli fan. I love all the movies. So I added little suit sprites, and there's a Hobbit hole somewhere. There's a Don Quixote and Sancho Panza. Yeah, so
Y luego
it's fun.
que están bailando folclórico.
Oh yeah, some folklorico dancers, mariachis, little bits of. I put the Performing Arts Academy from downtown, where my kids take classes too. And I put like the flamenco dancer in the window and a guitar player and.
How much does something like that take you to complete?
Well, that one took me 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah, they were super patient with me, which is I'm super grateful. And
Well, I mean,
and also like for me, it was great. Like I can bring my kids to work, and like they would do their homework there, and they always have something going on at the library, like activities for the teenagers or for the kids. And so my kids were always entertained, and like I love it there. And I mean, I wish I had more work to do there because it's like I like to hang out there, And now they have a coffee shop in there, so it's nice. Yeah, yay, coffee.
It's a beautiful, beautiful mural.
It really is.
And you how do you, in that one, so you mentioned that people told you that they wanted certain themes in
Some
there.
of the stuff I added as I went. The actual mural, they had a contest with high school kids where they picked four pieces that I was going to work off of. The four were super different. So it was kind of a challenge to kind of like put the four artworks with four very different styles together. So instead of like trying to like copy them and like paste them on the wall, what I did was take elements from all of the artworks and just kind of use those to inspire the rest of the mural. So like the book that opens in the middle, with like the sunshine coming on the top or whatever. That was not such a big part of one of the drawings, but I liked it. I liked the like that, I don't know, epic, the book opening, with like everything flowing out of the pages. And that's kind of like where magical. It starts. It's like the book, and then everything kind of flows out of the pages, and then it kind of surrounds the rest of the library.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's just,
and that's where I started too. Like I started with the book, and then went one way, and then started like kind of just wrapping around.
And you were just able to capture our local culture so well, and our local landscape. Right, because we have
the palm trees.
And we have beautiful sunsets here. So for me, when I saw that sun, I just thought of the sunset versus like the sunrise. I mean, we have beautiful sunrises too.
Yeah. I put the palm trees along the whole wall too, because I feel like there's these like giants, watching us the whole time. Everywhere you go, there's these like super tall like palm trees that are like watching over us, and like to me that's how they feel. Because for me, like plants are not just like they're there. They have
tienen vida.
Tienen
y
vida.
Personalidad.
Y personalidad. Yes.
Sí.
So I refer to some of them as he or she just because that's how I perceive them. It might not even. I mean, who cares, right? But
people, I care.
I mean, for the plants, like they. I'm sure they
would rather be treated much nicer. I'm sure.
I'm sure they prefer actually being talked to.
Yes, exactly.
So like I don't know, my cacti look more masculine, so obviously. So I know for me they're like, but there have been some cacti that like to me I refer to them as she. Like she likes it here, or she likes this window or whatever.
Pero you're giving me a different perspective of palm trees here, because I'm always mad at where they're located because they don't provide any shade.
Oh yeah.
So, and I've heard other people complain like down the bike trails.
Yeah.
There's hardly any shade for cyclists to stop, but there's palm trees.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you could have maybe planted some, some
you
ébano
can use
or
the fronds to make some shade. Make palapas along
las palapas.
Yeah.
So little, shout out to the city.
There's a lot of things that I think they don't consider when they do the landscaping, like the pollinating plants and stuff. Like we have the monarch migration come through here twice a year. Like how do we not have milkweed growing everywhere? Yeah.
Everywhere.
We should. Yeah. I bomb seeds everywhere. Like wherever I see, like, oh, they have not mowed the lawn here for months. I'm gonna go throw some seeds and like hopefully get some milkweed going.
Sí te veo.
No sabes. I carry my little John Appleseed pack with all sorts of like wildflowers and like. Yes.
And milkweeds grow and they spread.
I had. When I was living in Los Fresnos still, I had so much milkweed, like crazy on the south side of the house, because I bought 2 plants from the farmer's market years ago. Yeah. 2 plants. And then all of a sudden it was like, poof, everywhere. Yeah. And then I just started collecting seeds and like, giving them away to friends or like just throwing them out the windows and, so.
And because they move because they have this little white...
The little puff. Yeah, they look like fairies.
Yeah, so they start traveling around and they land everywhere. And monarchs are really smart for picking, millions of... Whenever they decided to pick that plant. Do you know about monarchs? You don't.
About them a little bit.
Oh, it's because Draco... So Draco's my son and Alejandra knows my son. And they... he's a monarch scientist. Like he raises them. He's helped them hatch like from their chrysalis. He observes them. We have we also have milkweed at the house, and he'll go and he'll make sure that they're good. He'll count them, and then when he was younger, he'd cry. Like there was like just crying all the time because they were dying. But now he's like, oh, ya se murió otra, you know.
Yeah.
During these past few days, they covered them up so that they would survive. It's because they're really important.
They're very important. Yeah. Yeah. We did when I was homeschooling too. We did that. Leo, my oldest, we used to have chickens too. So he was watching a butterfly lay eggs on one of the plants. Mm-hmm. And there was a chicken close by, so he freaked out, and he grabbed the leaf where the egg was, and he like brought it inside. He's like, "Mom, I saved it." I was like, "What are you talking about?" I couldn't even see. It was like a tiny little speck under the leaf, you know. Yeah. He's like, "It's a monarch butterfly egg." I was like, well, now we're gonna have to take care of that, you know, like. So we went online and just researched, and we raised that one little egg into the caterpillar and fed it. Like we brought in like a potted little like milkweed and like fed it and like brought leaves every day, fresh leaves, because we have so many plants. We could just like pick some leaves and put them in there until it turned into a butterfly, and we released it. Yeah. But it was a really, really interesting, because I've always. I mean, one of my options or my thoughts to like go to school was entomology. Like I really wanted. I love insects and all sorts of critters and bugs. Also like reptiles and things like that. But I don't think I have the attention span for something like that.
So the snake. That's why you want to be with the snakes. You want to.
I love snakes. Yeah, yeah. And so yeah, insects are really interesting. We got to see cicadas emerge too.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Beautiful, like. It was awesome, and we were always surrounded by like the vibration and because we were in the middle of nowhere. Like we didn't have neighbors or anything. It was just us and like maybe some like crops in the back, and that was it.
I mean, during their seasons, I mean, you can hear.
I love it. I love it. I don't understand how people don't
tune into it or
don't like it. Like I've known people that are like, ugh, it's so annoying. And I was like, what do you mean? It's like the sound of summer, you know? Like, it's summer when the cicadas start singing, you know? Yeah. And the June bugs are hitting your walls and your windows,
It's we enjoy the sound. Because we grew up in it, and it's just for me, and it's a vibration, so it's like it's hitting you at the core. Yeah. When I've paid attention to the sound.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Okay, so you've done multiple projects, though. I mean, that's one that you mentioned too so far.
Those are the most recent ones. I mean, I also did one in Matamoros that I was really excited to do, which was we were rehabilitating public spaces in low-income neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. So we were in La Colonia Obrera. Okay. And so the project was to try to get teenagers to help us paint murals and like clean up the basketball courts, plant new trees and this. The teenagers weren't really into it, but a lot of the little kids started to like come out. So we had like, I'll look for the pictures and send them to you later. But we had groups of 20-something, 30 kids like, and they were helping us paint murals. We were like, there was another group that was doing like theater with them, and like, so there was the state hired a group of artists. Mm-hmm. So it was like visual artists and performing artists to like work with the kids and like kind of create a community, because most of these places are targets for the narcos.
The narcos.
To like
recruit.
Recruit. Yeah. So. And when I feel like when the kids have a healthy space to develop in, they're not really looking for something else,
Yeah, healthy and beauty, right? Yeah. Find some beauty in the spaces that they inhabit.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference.
And not just that, but to take care of their own space. Yeah. Because that's another thing that I've noticed. And it's not just a Brownsville or Matamoros thing. I think it's everywhere. I mean, it's just people don't take care of public property, I mean, you go to, it's not public property, but you go to a store and you find things that are already, like, open and, like, everywhere. And you're like, or the first time we had the bikes on Linear Park. Okay. I don't know how long they lasted, but they were gone after a little while.
Really? Like, they don't have them anymore?
No. The first time.
The first time.
These now, I think they're still there. But the first time they did it, which was a few years ago, I mean, I saw them and I was like, that's really cool. But we're in Brownsville, and like I know, I hope they last, It's hard because there is this lack of care, and education on that type of.
I think that's where it's at. It's a lack of education. I don't think we're being taught at a young age how to appreciate what public or communal really means, right?
Yeah.
Like if we all pitch in, we all contribute, if we all take care, then it's gonna last us for a long time.
Yeah.
I think instead we tend to create more dependency.
Yes, I think that's instead of appreciating what we have and taking care of, we're like, oh, it's free, we might as well screw it up and get a new one.
Yeah, and there's more issues to that, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, but I see where you're coming from. One of my pet peeves in Bronzeville, and I'm sure it's across the valley, and like you said, it's everywhere. But I see plastic bags flying all over the place.
What happened with that? Like, why we were so good about that for a while. We didn't have plastic bags in the stores, and all of a sudden, like, who complained about not making money off of it?
Don't know who complained,
because I'm pretty sure it has some.
Or who took it to the Texas Supreme Court.
It's something. When stuff like that happens, it's always something to do with money. Always, like.
I think so. I think it had to do with how the fee was being used by the city. And I guess it was at some point, I don't know the full story because I wasn't here at that time, but I believe that that was how they filed the lawsuit, or not the lawsuit,
like,
but that it was unconstitutional.
Why can't people just carry a bag?
But it was we were one of the first cities in the U.S. to do it.
I mean, when in 2000,
it was voted in.
2004, I got to go to Germany and stay there for a few months, and they had that already, like going on. I felt like really awkward when I went the first time. I was like, "There's no bags." I'm like, and everybody's like carrying their own little bag. The shopping carts, you rent them. You put the coin in, and then when you come back, you get your coin back.
Oh, okay.
So the shopping carts are always in the same place.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was really impressed. Like, Germany is probably, I've been to a few different countries, and Germany has probably been the cleanest and the most like orderly place I've ever been to. And it was interesting. They had public bathrooms that were like so high tech. Like, you come in and then it's super clean, and then you leave, and then you hear the thing go, and it's like cleaning up and sanitizing or whatever. I was like, wow, like, this is really cool. Like, I wonder if this would last in my country. Our city, But I don't know. I think it's also a very small country, so I guess population is, easier to
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know much about Germany. But back to the mural that you worked on. So it was 5 stories.
That was 5 stories.
And and I read, and I was searching you up last night.
Yeah. Stalking.
I know, stalking. There you go. Eat stalking or whatever it is. So am I correct? You designed 3 mothers? Is it?
It's 3 grandmothers.
3 grandmothers. Okay.
So 3 grandmothers, and they're embroidering like a tapestry with a tree of life. So I only had a month to work on this. And at the moment, okay, so I haven't really talked about this. I might start crying because I cry a lot.
Estás en buena compañía.
Soy bien llorona. But so while that was happening, I had just split up with my youngest son's dad.
Okay.
And that was like my first big job. And I lost a lot of friends around that time. I had my friend Elida and her boyfriend helped me with, like, they started with like the roots. They helped me paint the roots, and after the roots, they had work and their own thing. She started a new job and things. So I couldn't find anybody to help me. I wasn't able to pay. I didn't want to ask for my friends to work for free either, because it's. I mean, I'll do it for my friends too, but still, right, but as an artist, how long, how much what a toll it is on the body, and how much time it takes from your life, So it's kind of hard to be like, hey, help me out. I don't know if I can pay you or not, because I wasn't getting paid the best, for that, but it was just kind of a difficult situation.
You were getting the materials and everything, or you had to put in the materials? This is this
Because
is
I
important.
don't like look, and I know it's always really hard when it's like work with like city people, and this was Matamoros, not Brownsville. But they didn't provide all of the paint that I needed, because also it had to do with the paint company, because the paint company Comex was supposed to they were donating the paint. So when I told them, I gave them my color palette, they were like, that's way too much paint for that surface area. I'm like, but you're not considering the layers and the mixing of the colors and like, all of the like. So they gave me way less than I needed. They just gave me enough to cover the surface area, So also like we were really low on like white. He's like the main paint, that we need to like mix, lighter colors or lights or cover things that we might mess up or whatever. So it was really hard. I did have to like some friends helped me with a fundraiser. Because, so right in the same time that I was working on that mural, I had a lump on my breast that I hadn't taken care of that was getting worse. I was going through a custody battle. And I lost a lot of friends. So, ya pasó. Ya pasó y todo está bien. So it was really hard, So, I finally got to finish it.
No tengo Kleenex, amiga.
Ay, no hay pedo,
Perdóname.
aquí con la manga,
Okay.
mira. Aquí con la manga. Ya están toda llena de mocos. But I finished it, and like a week after, I had a surgery to get the lump removed and everything. It wasn't anything serious. It was just like...
Pero como que asusta.
Asustó. Sí, it was big. It was like the size, quarter size, but like lump, you know? Apparently it was like calcified breast milk or cheese.
Yeah, era queso.
Era queso ahí atorado. No, but it was like calcified milk that had stayed there. I mean, my son was already 5, so, and I mean, I don't know how that happens, but, then the doctor mentioned something like through stress or, whatever, daily life, it starts to accumulate like fat or tissue around it, and it's, and I was taking care of it with herbs for a while before the separation, and it did help. And it was almost gone, but then things weren't going too well or whatever, and I stopped taking care of myself. So
the stress,
and it got worse. It was hard also because when I told my partner, he didn't care.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
that's why I left.
Yeah.
And then after that. So I had the surgery, I got that removed, and because of that mural, I started getting a lot of attention. Like I had a journalist from Spectrum contact me, and he went over to Matamoros with me and did a little story on me, and he followed my work for a little bit. And I introduced him to some other artist friends of mine. He went to another art show that we had with Museo de Arte Contemporáneo de Tamaulipas in Matamoros. And it was the art show was 13 artists, women artists from the border.
Wow.
It was an awesome show. Like honestly, I was like, what am I doing here? Like, these are awesome artists. Like most of them friends of mine. Which I'm super proud of my friends. Like I love them. Like It's so cool to have to look up to these women and be like, they're also my friends, like I also get to hang out with them and and their kids. So yeah,
Una colectiva.
It's como un colectivo, sí. I love it. Yeah, we not officially, but we work together. We help each other out. We, it's really cool. So
this month-long mural, were you living in Matamoros at the time?
No. Oh, wait. I was also teaching at the museum.
Yeah.
I was teaching art classes at the museum on Saturdays, and the art class for the summer camp at the... it was the summer classes at the museum and the summer camp at the Boys and Girls Club. So I was doing those two, and custody battle, and so it was like... I lost a lot of weight around that time. It was crazy. I drank a lot of coffee, too. Drank a lot of coffee. Probably smoked a lot of cigarettes too, which I've cut down a lot too. So it's
yeah. Cigarettes and soda. I grew up with a smoker, so
yeah. Well, me too. And my dad quit when I was 15, and that's when I picked it up. And I started with like Virginia Slims and like Caprinos, but now it's like no, I need like then everybody would start stealing my cigarettes when I was like in high school. Because I was 15.
It was hip.
It's hip. Yeah,
It's
and everybody
hip.
started stealing your cigarettes. So I started buying Delicados without the filter. Nobody wanted those. They're too strong, and they were 5 pesos back at the time. So it was like I get more cigarettes. Nobody takes my cigarettes because they taste like shit to them. So. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Sorry.
It's non-filtered. I don't know if I think that's probably better than filtered because I think it's the filter that has the nicotine. And that's what's I don't know. I'm not a cigarette smoker.
Well,
we need
now I smoke American Spirits.
Okay.
O sea, tabaca hipster.
Sí.
No, but mainly because it's organic, or so they say. And
tengo un amigo que he rolls his own, but he makes his own herbs.
Yeah, I roll herbs too. Like I used to make herbal cigarettes and sell them at the farmer's market too. With Gordo Lobo, you can do sage, you can do like all the really fragrant flowers you don't want to use because they're harsh, they're a little like spicy on the throat. But you can add a little bit, like if you like the taste of lavender or roses, you can like powder it and just add a little sprinkle. Gordo Lobo is really good because Gordo Lobo is mullein. And that's really good for the lungs. So it's actually a tonic for the lungs. And
really?
Yes. So smoke is not bad for you. It's what you're smoking that's bad for you. Because smoke is just another way of intaking medicine, like with anything, and it's also easier. Yeah, it's easier to dose it when you're smoking it than if you're ingesting it because it takes longer to absorb into the bloodstream when you're eating it. So. I mean, I'm not saying smoke everything, but you can smoke anything.
I was gonna go out and buy a pack right now.
No. And I've rolled my own like tobacco too, and I just don't.
Tobacco, no.
No sé, no me gusta como sabe. Like when I roll it myself.
I smoked early. I grew up in a house of. My grandfather was a chain smoker, and you could see the nicotine on the walls.
Oh yes,
from the smoke.
yes.
I grew up with secondhand smoke.
In the day, it wasn't even I remember you could smoke inside the mall.
Oh yeah.
Like I
in
remember
airplanes.
Smoking in the mall. Like
smoke in airplanes.
I remember
airplanes.
I remember our teachers would smoke during. Our teachers would smoke in the teachers' lounge.
Yeah.
Y regresaban.
My grandfather would send me to the corner store porque era el vecino. El dueño era el vecino y me conocía. Pero me mandaba en la bicicleta a recoger los cigarros.
Yeah, I'd buy cigarettes from my dad too. Yeah, and it's insane how much things have changed and how all of that.
Thanks to the whistleblowers.
Thanks to the
Yes. Yeah. Because they, they're the ones that, told us about how bad
tobacco, yeah.
Well,
it's not the tobacco, it's the nicotine. It's the stuff that they put in it.
And I remember going to a restaurant and there was a smoking section and a non-smoking section.
Oh, yeah. Well, when I first started college, when I started coming to college, IHOP had a smoking section. And, you're an art student, you're here all night. So it was like 2 a.m, you go to IHOP and, smoke a pack of cigarettes while you're sketching,
Okay, so I want to know, how did you get, because your bachelor's, you started when you were young. I mean, you're an artist. You're a hardcore artist. I mean, so
I don't know how to do anything else.
Why would you want to? I mean, really, because you're living my life, right? But you have a bachelor's in fine arts. You specialized in studio art, right? Mm-hmm. But you got into murals. Mm-hmm. What did you already know? Because mural work is hard. It's intimidating.
I started with small things, with nurseries and my friends' babies' nurseries, as a gift, because sometimes I can't really afford to buy gifts, but I can paint you something, So So I did my friends' nurseries. My sister also she asked me for little things in her daughter's nursery. My first big project was at the Good Shepherd Church. This was 15 years ago. That mural's not there anymore. But one of I don't know if he was a counselor there or something. He used to be a counselor at my high school. I graduated from Valley Christian High School.
Which is no longer, right?
Yeah, I know. No. I wish my son would have gone there. It was honestly, I it changed my perspective of Christians a lot. Like, because my experience was always was never very positive. Not always negative, but never very positive. It was always very, like, I always felt very judged. Also because when we converted from light Catholicism, because we weren't really like
light,
we were light, Catholic light. We started going to church more, and it was very intense because it's very different, like going to a Catholic church than going to like an evangelist church, or like So it's a very different experience. You're not just going for 1 hour. Sometimes you're there for all day. It's like, and I was going through my kind of gothic stage, so I was always wearing black and spikes and like knee-high boots and fishnets. And all
I've
this.
seen some pictures on
Yes.
yes.
So I like exploring different styles. So it was always kind of like they thought I guess I was a Satan worshiper or something, and I mean I was never into that.
That's what we think about goths right away.
Right away. Oh, they worship
Our
Satan.
mind goes to that right away.
Right,
Oh, this person is
It's
no.
propaganda.
and I
It's
guess because
propaganda.
like like even like my metalhead friends, like you see them like they're wearing the leather and they're covered in like satanic tattoos, and they're like the sweetest, nicest teddy bears. Like
It's not más it's just a style.
it's just a style. Yeah. So for me, like my mom had the same thought. Like she said that before, she was like always really like, oh my god, like tattoos and piercings and all this, and that like I kind of like introduced her to like my friends and stuff, and she was like, oh, they're actually nice people. Yeah. So I don't forget what we were talking about.
So how did you get into muralism?
Yeah,
You were talking also about
the church and the school and all that. Yeah. Okay, so after I graduated, way later and stuff, the counselor from my school, was working at that church, and he asked me if I could do a mural for their like activity center or something, like not the actual church.
At Good
area.
Shepherd?
A Good Shepherd,
Okay.
yeah. It's like the building that's on the right if you're looking at it from the front. And it was he gave me the idea. This is what I want. Like, you just do it your way. So he wanted like a little, like a rope bridge, coming from like darkness to light.
Oh,
going up
okay.
into the clouds, and then Jesus kind of like receiving you on the other side. It was rough because I didn't want to make Jesus look like a cartoon. But also I didn't want him to look too serious because this was a space where the kids were going to go, So, and at the time I wasn't really into Christianity, at all. So I was like,
no le querías poner la cruz.
So I wasn't very, I wasn't,
con la sangre.
no. I wasn't very inspired, like when I was doing it, but it was my first big job. I was actually pregnant with Leo at the time. So his dad helped me a little bit with that mural. It was my biggest project at the time, and it was cool. So that was after that. I didn't do murals for a while until, when did I start up again? I don't remember. Somebody, I guess I've just been, I had stopped for a while, and then my friends from Metanoia, Natalie and Oscar, I love them. They're so sweet. They're the awesome
haven't
couple.
met them.
You haven't met them? Oh my God, you're going to love them. They're so cool. I've known them. I used to work at Johnny Carino's for ever, for 12 years. That's where I met them. She worked there, but they've been dating since forever. Okay. So after work, it was Natalie, Oscar, my best friend Jared, and me would go hang out in shenanigans behind
I didn't know. I don't know their story. I just know the food truck that they have right now at 7th and Park.
Well, that's how I met them. And then years later, I always kind of kept in contact with Natalie a little bit over, online. And then years later, when I moved back from Argentina,
Andado por todo
lados.
That's awesome.
Well, Leo's dad is from Argentina, so I moved over there for a little while, and then I came back. And then when I was living in Los Fresnos, she contacted me and asked if I could do. She showed me a little picture that she found online of this little doodle of kind of a goddess meditating, with green hair. And she's like, just do it your own way, just this is kind of the basic idea.
Yeah.
So I did the sitting goddess with her closed eyes, kind of in a meditation pose, and but I just started adding a bunch of medicinal plants all around her. So she's wrapped in passion flower and violets and So like violets are good for cysts that it helps remove like breast lumps and cysts and things like this.
Okay.
So I put violets around her breast. I put passion flower is a nervous system tonic, so I put that like all around her, like kind of enveloping her. And that's one of my favorite plants too. Like I love passion vine. It's helped me through a lot too, because I make tinctures with alcohol with my plants, and so I'm always dosing plants. So I'm like drinking lemon balm or whatever, just to kind of like keep my anxiety down a little bit.
Yeah.
What else did I put? I put some cannabis in her hair. I put butterflies coming out of everywhere. I put so I made her like into this like Mama Gaia, así Pachamama goddess. I put henna on her hands too, because that's also a plant. That's also a medicine. Yeah, so that was like probably the first recent mural that I did. Like the first one that started my recent streak.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's cool.
I was really proud of it. I loved it. I wish they could have cut out that wall, because they closed the space.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love that mural, because I don't know if the people that are there now kept it or not. But. Yeah.
So one of the things a question we ask all our guests, and I can't wait to hear your response to this, is...
Please be no math.
No math. No math. What's the square root? No. Well, I'm sure some of the guests feel that way, but, it's just
or maybe would have an easier time answering that question than what you're about to ask.
Yes. So what does feminism mean to you?
To me... it's kind of hard, because it's such a ism now. You know what I mean? And I feel I always hate labels.
Yeah.
And I will label myself feminist, but it means so many different things to so many different people.
Yeah.
That I'd rather. To me, feminist is thinking like a mom.
Okay.
Taking care of the babies first. You know. There's something there's this bruja that I follow, Susana Budapest, and she, you know her?
Yeah.
She said, and I think it's kind of funny. It's like some people, I don't know if they get it or not, but there's only two types of people: mothers and their children.
Oh.
You know? And when you think about things that way, and you start to kind of shift your perception into like a mama's nurturing, protective mode, and not just for your family, but your community, your home, your neighbor, everything. Like you want to feed the people that don't have food. You want to shelter those that don't. If we actually changed our mentality, instead of like being that, I guess again another ism, patriarchal, like like that goal set, thinking where it's like one line thought, that I think that gets us into a lot of trouble. And I feel like the reason we're so messed up all over the world and there's so much tragedy everywhere is that there's such an imbalance. I'm not saying that women should be empowered like
the system. It's the system.
It's the system, the whole system. The whole system from the beginning, like from
it's patriarchal system, yeah.
And unfortunately, not a lot of people understand what that means, and they think it's just, feminists are man haters, Yeah. And I have two sons. Like, I want them to grow up to be, kind people, and responsible people. And unfortunately, we don't see that in a lot of the males around us. And I know there are good men out there. My dad was an excellent father and an excellent husband, according to my mom. So, I mean, because I didn't have that experience, of my father. Yeah. So he was an excellent father, and he was always, like, making sure that he provided for us and that we had what we needed, and that he was involved in our education, everything, So I know there's good men out there, but where are they at?
¿Dónde están? ¿Dónde están? Hay una canción, ¿dónde están? Sí. En Shakira.
Los ladrones.
Los ladrones.
They got me thinking about that one, because
it's I don't know. I mean, to me, being a feminist is that, like thinking like a mom, and that's how I take it, because as a mom, like you see all these injustices too, like the girls that get kidnapped and killed, and all over Mexico and here too. That's so quiet, you know.
It's a global phenomenon.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Through feminism, I've learned, and through my feminist mentors, I've learned that there is that mothering, right, is a separate concept from mothers.
Yes.
Right. So anyone
Yes.
can mother.
So the last art show that I put together last October was called Matristic, and the word matristic means anything that has to do with pre-patriarchal societies. So the matriarchal societies that are before everything we know, you know. So what we're like, I don't know if there's this documentary. I don't know if it's still on Netflix. It's called The Ascent of Woman.
Oh, I haven't seen it. No.
Man, check it out.
Yeah.
But she talks about there was this community that they found where there was no signs of like possession. Like there wasn't like just like the kids were everybody's kids.
The idea of property wasn't there.
They had a little city, you know, structure, but it wasn't like it was like every, you know, people were just kind of people there, you know, help each other out, which. I mean, I don't know how it would work now with, like, all of the conditioning that we've gone through, you know, for so many generations. But there's things that we are just so stuck on and, like, will not, like, did you know the size, like, the width of streets has to do with the size of carriages in Rome?
Yeah, makes sense. Because that makes sense. Because when streets started to be built, they started removing the carriages. They just started removing the carriages and also the trolley, those little trolley carts, because the car industry, and not just like the car, I'm talking about like all the materials, right? So like the rubber, Firestone, the tires, like all the car industry started pushing for streets. So that makes sense on what you're saying, yeah.
And it's just like, you have no idea. Like, why are streets this wide? Why do we make cars this size? Because of Rome, apparently, you know, like.
And we accept it.
And very Eurocentric, right?
Yeah.
You know? Because we're not in Europe. But all those things that get brought over, right? Yeah.
I start to think about. I mean, I'm a kind of a big sci-fi geek.
Okay. Yeah.
Or nerd. I don't know. I love Stargate. And I started rewatching Stargate Atlantis recently, and just like that idea of like, we're gonna go to your world and bring you the technology that we think you need, and take what we want, and you know, like, we'll make your life better.
And it's funny.
And you said that's sci-fi?
It is. That's a thing. So like it's
like
these
sci-fi.
things. Like we critique this pattern, but yet we continue to perpetuate it.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to get out of it, you know. Like, I wish I could stop using plastic cups, you know. Like, but then, you know, it's like, I have my coffee, and then it's like, you know what, I should stop, you know. And I did make myself a coffee this morning, and then ADHD, and I left it on the table. So, yeah.
Pero es el estilo de vida, pero no es un estilo de vida individual, o sea, it's imposed on us.
We are not, and I feel like that's another problem. We're in this idea where we hustle. Órale, what are you doing? What are you sitting down? O sea, ponte a trabajar.
Sí.
You know, like, chill. Like, we don't even know our own bodies. Like, we don't even, like, I talk to some, like, women, and they're like, they don't even know if they're regular, you know, they have a regular period or not, you know, like, they're like, I don't know. Sometimes, you know, I get it once a month. You know?
Or what is regular?
What is regular? Yes, or you know, like there's a lack of dialogue with your own self. You know, and I feel like that, like the time that I had kind of isolated when I was living in Los Fresnos and like just doing markets and like working off, you know, like my plants and stuff, like it helped me get more in touch with myself and with like the earth too. I like for 12 years I didn't use any chemicals in my hair, you know, because I was trying to like be as natural as possible, but at the same time I want bright blue, so
which looks great with your neon
yellow
yellow
cap. Yeah, it's really good.
I love it.
I love the blue too. Yeah. So like like it's hard to stay on the path sometimes, but also like I don't know. Like I'm very like divided by these 2 points where like I want to be as clean for the planet as possible and like do all the eco-friendly things and recycle and eat well and all that, but also like I want to do the fun things like dye my hair blue, and like eat crap that I don't need, like I want to like as I don't know, like I don't know how we're here or why we're here, but if we are here to experience to have a human experience as much as possible, I want to enjoy as much as I can, and I'm gonna smoke my cigarettes, because I like them, but yes, when you know that something's not gonna be good for you, then obviously cut it down or whatever, not do it as much, but
I mean, more than a lot of people out there, and look, we all know there's a lot of knowledges out there, but when we don't pay attention to certain things, we're not getting the education that we need, or even how to pay attention to some of these damaging issues that can come at us. Then we don't know how to detect them. We don't know how to,
we don't know what to do when we encounter them.
Yeah. I think also it's a lack of curiosity.
También.
On people and the lack of interest, because I don't know, like I feel like a lot of times in school they kind of squash that.
Oh yeah.
Like, stop asking so many questions, like
because
it's not in the class to be over. Like you're not enjoying the education process, so you're trying to make it as short and quick as possible. So you're not even going to wonder like why things are the way they are. So when it's like, I feel like if I would have had a math teacher that would have made it interesting for me, I might have gotten more into it, because I did have one for geometry, and I think also because there was a lot of drawing in it that I was more like interested in it, and I'm a very visual learner, so I need to be seeing, like, to me, the numbers and the letters don't mean anything, but if you put it in a graph, like, I'll understand it, so that's I feel like now we're learning more about the different styles of I guess learning.
There's a lot more research on that.
When I was coming to college, like, it was weird for me to be like crocheting while I was like people would look at me like, what are you doing? I'm crocheting while I'm listening, because if my hands are not busy, my head's gonna be in space and I'm not gonna be listening to a word this teacher's saying, so I have to be keeping my hands busy, or like origami or something. See, it's like I can't. And then it's not like people think I'm not paying attention. I'm like, no, I'm doodling, but because if I don't doodle, I don't know what the heck you just said. Like.
Yo lo que he hecho es que ya les quito los devices, porque como sé que hay muchos que necesitan algo para centrar su, I don't know, their anxiety or to pay attention, they look at the screen. And I'm like, no, that's not the way I want you to look. Like, bring in whatever you want to bring in, or doodle or whatever, but not the screen or not the device, right? But I totally understand.
Yeah, nobody knows how to research anymore.
Yeah, that's
like,
that's
I remember being at the library with stacks of books, like looking up, art history or whatever, or.
And I mean,
now it's like,
oh yeah, no, you're right.
Click, copy, paste.
He's the head of.
As the head of research and instruction, that
exactly.
kind of hits to the core. but you're right. I mean, I think some
and
of
I
that
think
is being
we
lost.
do not teach the love of books too. Like, I mean, I don't know how long paper lasts, but. It would suck that it.
Well, now they're being banned, right? So
yeah, I know we were discussing that as we were walking over here to the studio, discussing books and your love of books and my love of books, and as regards to the technology, the book is still my preferred choice.
Yeah. Have you guys been to Bull?
Yes.
Okay, every time I walk in there, it's like.
Bueno, yo no puedo hacer eso porque a veces tiene un olor así medio raro, pero
like
es
I
el
like
drenaje,
that.
es el drenaje.
It's el drenaje. Okay. Oh, is there rusty?
Yeah, when you go straight to go to the back. When you go to the back, right?
Son las hamburguesas de la.
Rutledge.
That will. The
pero sí te entiendo.
Kind of permeates, but
yeah.
I love like walking into a bookstore,
Oh,
like,
same
and
here.
more when there's like old books, because new books, they smell alright, but. Old books, like, they carry all this history, like, unlike, I don't know, like, sometimes I'll find, like, notes.
Oh, yes.
Like,
oh, yeah.
or, like, a flower
Yes.
inside
Yes.
a book, and that's just, I don't know. I like finding little flowers in books.
Okay, so we're running out of time, and we can continue talking forever, but I want our listeners to know where they can find you. Like, where can...
I'm everywhere. Actually, February, I am going to be everywhere. I'm going to be... Chihuahuas. Maybe let me bust it out. But on Instagram, Sertuchina. Facebook. Well, my business page, which I'm really bad at keeping up at these things. Like, and somebody the other day told me or commented on one of my posts, you should do a Patreon and videos on YouTube. I'm
I know, it's a lot of work.
Oh my God.
It's
like,
a lot of work.
Yeah,
I can barely sit down and write an artist bio.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
I was writing it, and I was like, maybe I was just like, I'm really bad at writing, you know?
Te dio sueño.
Medio sueño. I was like, I'll do it in the
Así me
morning.
pasa a mí.
I'll just tell him during the show.
Yeah, I'll introduce myself.
exactly.
Don't worry. It was just, like, and I kind of had an idea, but then it was like, how do I talk about myself?
It is hard. Yeah.
Juan and I were just having this conversation because they ask us to put bios in the third person.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, he's like, I just don't understand why it has to be in the third person. I'm like, because then when somebody reads it, they're speaking about you.
But that's the thing also, like, with that imposter syndrome.
Yes.
How do I talk about myself without making myself look like crap? Like without just being like basic. Like, oh, she's an artist, she's a mom.
We should
she's from Bronzeville.
We should have a bio workshop. Was it bio workshop for artists? Like how to
writing workshop.
Yes, there you go.
For visual artists.
There you go.
No math.
We teach you to do words.
Okay. So we can post your
we
information
can post
online so that people can find you. But you're on Instagram.
I'm on Instagram at Sertuchina. Facebook, Peace, Love, and Henna.
Okay.
And yeah. And usually I'm at little markets and events and stuff. I teach, art classes too. So.
And we really enjoyed having you join
Thank you.
us.
This
and you're
was
welcome
fun.
anytime to come back.
I'm totally down to do this again. This is
awesome.
If you have shows that you want to promote, you come in and
yeah. We'd love to have you back.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to be here again.
Okay,
Cool.
sounds good. Okay, we are gonna wrap this up. We're already over, and I'm just having a.
So fast,
I know. I'm just having a. Our sound tech is having a little bit of an anxiety attack over here because we're a minute over. Okay, so we're gonna end it. So everyone, have a great weekend.
Yes.
Enjoy the weather, and thank you for listening in. Thank you, Alejandra, for being here. Really enjoyed it. And we're gonna end it with 1999 Prince.
Wow.
Everybody have a great weekend and take care of yourselves.
Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.